Hey everyone, every year I like to write a Christmas letter and send it out to all of our friends and family. And I thought, what a great thing it would be to read this year's Christmas letter to everyone here on YouTube. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and read our 2023 Christmas letter. Where do I even begin? I'll start with an excerpt from last year's Christmas letter. As for the more important thing, starting a family. If there is one goal Stephanie and I have above all else, it's that we really want to be parents and start a family. I look at how Stephanie interacts with kiddos, and she was made to be a mom. She is going to crush it at mom life. Unfortunately, having kids has been a little more difficult than we had thought, but our hopes are high and our faith is strong. As I'm sure you know by now, Stephanie and I had our prayers answered, and we welcomed 5 beautiful children, Adeline, Eliana, Linnea, Fisher, and Harper, into the world in June of this year. Little did I know that when I wrote last year's letter, Stephanie was pregnant, and quintuplets was not a word we use much in our vocabulary. And I can say from witnessing it firsthand, Stephanie is crushing it at mom life. I will provide a brief overview of what our life looked like this past year, but most importantly, this letter is as much of a thank you letter as it is a Christmas letter. I have been meaning to get thank you letters out for some time now, but as I'm sure you can guess, our life has been a little busy. That said, if you are receiving this letter, it means Stephanie and I are so thankful for you and the support you have given us throughout this year. Whether that be your prayers, sharing our story, giving a word of encouragement, making us a meal, or giving us a gift. The words in this letter will never be able to share the deep level of gratitude Stephanie and I have for you, but it's a start. The truth is, Stephanie and I are nothing special. We recognize that the miracle of our children is fully because of God's faithfulness and the community of people that have rallied up and supported us. Your support allowed us to focus on what is most important right now. Be parents and learn how to take care of 5 babies. Believe me, it is a learning curve. But back to the recap. On December 23rd of last year, Stephanie took a pregnancy test, and we found out that after 4 rounds of fertility treatment, she was pregnant. A couple weeks later, we went in for our first ultrasound, and to say what we saw shocked us is an understatement. We saw 5 babies growing, and we knew our life was forever changed. I'm not going to lie, the first few weeks of receiving this news were filled with a lot of fear. If you look much into your odds of a successful quintuplet pregnancy, they are not good. Pair that with Stephanie being 5'2", I sat in a lot of fear of what could happen to both my unborn children and to Stephanie. I did what I always do when I don't know how to do something. I got on YouTube. I quickly found another family who had quintuplets, and they mentioned a doctor in Phoenix, Arizona, who had delivered 25 sets of quintuplets and over 100 sets of quadruplets. His name was Dr. John Elliott, and Stephanie and I first spoke to him on a phone just a few hours after I had messaged him through his website. He was the first medical professional to truly give us hope for our situation. He didn't sugarcoat anything, however, and said if we wanted this to be successful, we needed to drop everything in our lives and move to Phoenix to focus on the pregnancy. And so we did. After selling our carpet cleaning business, our Airstream, a car, and a few other things, Stephanie and I moved to Phoenix in March. It was difficult to leave our friends and family in Washington, but I was also excited to explore a new place with Stephanie and be in a place where all we had was each other. I was also excited to see the sun. While I do not miss the record-setting 31-day streak of highs above 110 degrees, I find myself reminiscing about our time in Phoenix. Our life was fairly boring, but I'm super thankful for the time that Stephanie and I got to have with each other before the babies came. Our days were simple. Stephanie would focus on consuming her 5,000 calories for the day and resting, and I would make her smoothies, work, and go on a run. We'd make our way out to our community pool at least once per day, and we would finish the day with a couple episodes of Lost or The Office. Again, pretty simple life, but because Stephanie was sick for the whole pregnancy, it's about all we could do, and it allowed Stephanie to fully focus on being a superwoman and growing 5 babies. Luckily, we weren't completely alone in Phoenix. We met some great people in our little complex, and we found a great church that was a minute drive from our place. Our first Sunday, we met a family who had just had quadruplets, and the mother was even smaller than Stephanie. It was crazy and just another example of God's hand at work. We had so many people make us dinners, give us baby supplies, and so much more, and we are so thankful for our Phoenix family. Our goal was for Stephanie to carry the babies until 34 weeks, but our babies had a little different plan. Starting on June 1st, Stephanie started to experience a lot more pain than usual, and the swelling in her body started to increase. We went into the hospital on June 3rd, thinking Stephanie would be put on bed rest for the next few weeks, only to find out that she was fully in labor, and we would be seeing our children within a couple of hours. It was an absolutely terrifying moment because Stephanie was only 27 weeks pregnant. And before I could really gather my thoughts, there was a huge medical team attaching all kinds of things to Stephanie. I remember calling Stephanie's parents with a shaking voice and saying they needed to get to Phoenix ASAP. They soon rolled Stephanie back into the operating room, and there was no going back. Starting at 12:45 a.m. on June 4th and spanning only 7 minutes, Adeline, Eliana, Linnea, Fisher, and Harper were born at 27 weeks and 2 days gestation at St. Joseph's Hospital. They were all above 2 pounds, which is insane for being that early and being quintuplets. I was absolutely blown away on how quickly a team was put together, considering we came in during an unplanned time. Dr. Elliott told me the surgery couldn't have gone better, and our NICU doctor quickly let me know all of our babies were doing fantastic. And he couldn't believe how healthy and big they were. The babies spent their first roughly 60 to 70 days of life in the NICU unit at St. Joseph's, and Stephanie and I both feel forever indebted to everyone there. Every doctor, nurse, support staff, and volunteers were some of the most caring and knowledgeable people I've ever met. It was never difficult leaving our children there because we knew they were in the best hands. Not only did they do a fantastic job of helping our babies flourish, they allowed us to be parents as much as we could through the whole process. Whether that was holding them, changing them, bathing them, and Stephanie was even able to breastfeed them. Not only that, they put the babies on a schedule, which has been a huge help for both of our sanities. Our daily trips to the NICU will never be forgotten, and we are so thankful for everyone at St. Joseph's and Dr. Elliott and his team at Valley Perinatal. We absolutely know we made the right choice moving to Phoenix, and we know all the teams we worked with are a huge reason why our babies are doing so great. 10 for 10 would recommend if you ever find yourself pregnant with quintuplets. Stephanie and I moved back to Washington with 5 new roommates at the end of August with the help of her parents, my parents, Stephanie's sister, and our niece. Our life in Washington now is much different than what it was before heading to Phoenix, but we are loving it. Some days do feel like Groundhog Day, but every day we are grateful that we have 5 beautiful, healthy children that we get to raise. We are also grateful for all the people, including you, who got us here. I'm thankful that Stephanie is healthy and has been able to recover so well. Like Phoenix, our days right now are fairly simple. We feed babies, change diapers, clean bottles, eat, sleep, and do it over again. I've never felt time being so limited as I do right now. I'm often left at the end of the day disappointed I didn't accomplish more, and then Stephanie and I remind each other that we kept 5 babies alive for the day, and that's an accomplishment in itself. While learning to become parents to 5 all at once has been challenging, it has absolutely been worth it, and we have loved each and every minute. It's difficult to put into words what it's like when you see 5 babies smiling at you, but it's pretty amazing. We even had our first deep belly laugh from one of the babies the other night, and I'm getting so excited to hear all 5 laugh at the same time. Stephanie and I have a lifetime of entertainment in store for us. As for our future, Stephanie and I don't have many concrete plans right now. Mike Tyson once said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face." I probably shouldn't compare having 5 children to getting punched in the face, but maybe there are some similarities in the shock factor. We had plans going into 2023, but obviously all of those have long changed now, and we are both perfectly at peace with that. Stephanie and I are both just so happy to be parents, and we are along for the ride of the year ahead. Christmas is as good of a time as ever to remember the things you are thankful for and to celebrate. We 100% believe the fact that our 5 babies are here today, as healthy as they are, is nothing short of a miracle. We give God all the glory, and we are so thankful for everyone who has helped us get us here. This is truly a story of literally hundreds, if not thousands of people coming together, believing in faith for a miracle, and offering support in every way possible. Stephanie and I have nothing but gratitude for each and every person who has helped us, and we couldn't have done it without all of your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is 5 thank yous. Now that I have a son of my own, it puts Christmas into a whole new perspective for me. God gave his only son Jesus for each and every one of us. What a gift it is. Of all the things to celebrate, we celebrate this the most this Christmas season. Stephanie and I wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and once again, we say thank you. We all want to say it?
Everybody say
1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas!